Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Trading Learning 101. What a great day in the market today. That just the overall market's just been slowly working its way back on up. Go to the SPY here real quick. Just slowly grinding up. All futures were up today. Market gaps up. Just slowly grinding up as the day goes on and just took back everything it lost all right here. So market's looking really strong today. We even had the VIX gap down, back down to around 17. So market's having a nice little rebound today. 1 second. All right, we got a lot to go over. A lot. We had SAEX gapping up this morning with earnings. I had this plotted out. I was looking at it in this $4 area right here, and maybe it could run up and test 450. That was my level. And when I'm watching the tape, I just seen weakness on the tape, so I didn't even mess with SAEX. And as you can see, SAEX just slowly just puttered off. Next up was AYTU. I took a quick scalp on this morning. AYTU also came out with news. 291% revenue growth. That's just ridiculous. And AYTU has a low float. So I seen it had this big rip from 230 all the way up to 290 pre-market. Came all the way back down to 230s here. It was just going sideways. So I was watching this, and I seen this just slowly moving its way on up to the VWAP here in this 250 level. I took a real quick scalp. Nothing big. I got in before the break of VWAP, and it pops over VWAP. I didn't see strength, so I sold it. Made like 5 cents on it, and that was it. And then AYTU, it just back and forth. It just didn't show strength. There wasn't volume attacking it. No volume was coming into it. That was the theme today. Volume was just scattered everywhere. It seemed like a lot of stocks would pop up and volume wouldn't come in really. Volume was like slow to get into stocks. Also INSY, look at that move. INSY Therapeutics continues slump after bankruptcy warning. So they got a bankruptcy warning and they had a huge gap down. Look at that. This was at $4. Yesterday this gapped all the way down to 80 cents, below $1. Comes up, just crosses over $1, and then today just gets a really good bounce from 80 cents all the way up to $1.50. Every day you should be looking at what's gapping up and what's gapping down. When you have stocks that have huge gap downs like this, always add them to your watch list for a potential bounce to try to cover half of what it lost. Look at this thing. From 80 cents today all the way up to $1.50. Just kept grinding and grinding and grinding, getting momentum, grinding and grinding, got more and more momentum and just shot straight up. Now it's pulled back down to the VWAP and is going sideways. So I'd say $1.25. This is in the healthcare sector. The healthcare sector is looking strong today. This could easily test 150 again. But you got to think of everybody that's bag holding in on this, right in this area. So keeping an eye on INSY the rest of the day. Next up, we had NVAX. I scalped this thing so many times today. I was able to make back my small $100 loss yesterday, and I was able to profit a little bit today. So I'm green on the week. Look at, I missed all this run up, all right here, from 570 all the way up to 780. I missed all of that. I let this pull back, came down to the VWAP, stabilized. That's when I got in. Rode it up, comes right up to the high right here, sold it for a scalp. Came back down, same level, got in again. Rode it back up, sold it. Then it surged up right here, and then it pulled back down to this area, back to the VWAP. And then it just started going sideways. And I've been seeing this a lot lately. Stocks have spikes up, they'll pull back, stabilize, start to go sideways, and they'll move up and get momentum. And then I just recently played this again when this started getting momentum and moving to the upside. But I also had a catalyst I was watching with this. I was comparing this NVAX to the sector, the health sector, and I was also looking at the SPY. If you look at the SPY real quick, look at the SPY. The SPY is strong, just keeps moving up, consolidating, surging up. Healthy pullback, surging up, consolidation. So I'm seeing that the SPY's strong. Pull back up NVAX. Let me delete these trend lines real quick. Well, we can delete this one and this one. So if I look at this, the healthcare sector double topped pretty much right here. And then it started forming an ascending wedge right here. It's putting the pieces together. That's all it is. And if you look at NVAX, this formed a wedge as well. It's in the same sector as healthcare. Healthcare forms a wedge, breaks out of the wedge, comes up to the VWAP, pokes over the VWAP here, pulls back below VWAP, and then starts moving up towards the VWAP. And then what this just starts, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles straight. This just surges up. And that gave me confirmation that the sector, healthcare, has strength. And then NVAX, sure enough, gets out of the wedge here, starts slowly but surely grinding up, and from 230s, this runs all the way up to 280. It's all about comparing the sector to the stock. I said this yesterday in the market recap with OPTT and the, what sector was that in? I want to say utilities, but if you haven't seen that daily recap video from yesterday, go back and watch that video. It's the same concept. This is my edge. If I see the market is showing strength, the SPY, and the sector is showing strength of the same stock, that's more of an advantage for me. So that's breaking down NVAX. I scalped the heck out of this thing today. Nothing else was really going on. NVAX was like the one that was popping off. But also, we had JMIA popping off as well. JMIA, look at this thing from yesterday. Yesterday, this goes from 20, squeezes all the way up to 26.50. And just comparing, just looking at what this did yesterday, this is yesterday, JMIA yesterday. This just slowly trended down, and then out of nowhere, it just surged out of nowhere, blows through the VWAP, makes a high up here at 24, pulls back right to the old high back here, bounces off of it, starts making higher lows, and then just surges up from $22.25, $22, $22.25, runs all the way up to $25. Pulls back again. Look at right where it pulls back to. Oh, the old high. Does it again. Starts forming higher lows, gets momentum, and surges. Big sell-off right here. Pulls back. Starts making higher lows. Higher lows. Gets momentum. Takes off. And then fast forward over today. This ramps up. Big sell-off. Comes all the way down to 26.60. Starts forming higher lows. Runs up to the VWAP. But what was cool about this, hold on, this formed a wedge right here. Connect the higher lows, connect the lower highs, forms a big wedge right there. And from 27.75, blows over the VWAP, runs up to 28.40s. Pulls back, bounces off the VWAP, breaks through the VWAP. Now, currently, right now, it's forming another wedge. But it's just all about recognizing patterns and observing what the stock's doing. You want to take everything into factor. You got to think about everything. What sector is this in? What's the strength of the overall market? What's the strength of the sector this stock is in? What key levels is it bouncing off of? If you simply just look back to the previous day, it topped out right here and right here. Draw a line, look at it. It sold off, bounced right off of that level. Consolidated and ripped up. Simple technical analysis like that. And that's why I preach keeping it simple. If you second guess yourself, you're gonna miss out on a lot of plays. Even zooming out to the previous 3 days, you could see it topped out right there, right there, right there, right there, and right there. And when it had this, when it opened up and ran up here, you could see it sold all the way down and it bounced right at that level. Connect the dots. Right there. That could have been a big payday right there. From 26.50, this runs all the way up to 28. Nice $1.50 run. There's a lot of stocks on my watch list. This Tuesday, just so much stuff was popping off. SLDB slowly grinding up. A lot of small cap stocks are reporting earnings today, so you're going to see a lot of just random pops. Big gap down on SLDB from 9 all the way down to a low of 450, and it's just getting a good bounce from that big gap down. People are looking at it as you're getting it at a discounted price. TME, another big gap down. I like this one from yesterday, look at the range on this. It just kept going back and forth from $16.50 to $16. Back and forth, back and forth. You could have played that all day. So it's showing you this likes to move in a range of 50 cents. And look what's happening today. Draw a line right there. Yeah, it did poke through it, but that's when you have your risks set. Draw a line here at 15. From 15 down to 14.50. Back down. 14.50, little pop up to 14.80. Back down to 14.50. Pops up to 15 bucks. Just off of going off of what this did the previous day. Right here. It has an average to range of 50 cents. But this day, this is a little sloppy. OPTT still ain't doing nothing, but it's still on my watch because it's still hanging around. It was hanging around all day in this level, and it's still today. Even though it broke a little bit below it, it's still hanging around in this level. And I remember when PRPO had a huge spike up, and then it just hung around just below the level of its high. Like 3 or 4 days later, it just exploded and surged up. Always want to keep stocks on the back burner. And then RIOT, just a choppiness grind this morning after yesterday. And today it's selling off because people are taking profits. WKHS, nice again. Little surge from $2 up to $2.20. This is what WKHS has been likened to do. $2 runs up to $2.25. Nice 25-cent grind right there this morning. Let me zoom out to show you guys. So right here, $1.70 runs up to $2.25. Pulls back, $1.70 to $2.25. This area right here pulls back to 2, runs up to $2.30. Then today, $2 to $2.20. It's just opportunity. Then I had TIGR on my list. I just been wanting to keep this on watch. It's still in its downtrend, and I'm just waiting for it to reverse. LCI, big sell-off on this. This was at around 7 bucks. This is one of Guy Gentile's stocks. Always got to keep an eye on this. From 7 all the way down to 550s. So it's been hanging around this 550 as support, working its way up to 575. BPTH, no volume, but I still got BPTH on watch, always, after just that parabolic move. SPRT, just a quick pump and dump from 225 all the way up to 275. LKCO, another pump and dump. So NVAX, that's probably going to be the #1 watch the rest of the day. Even though it doesn't have any news, it's moving. And traders are going to trade whatever's moving. But it was a good rebound day. Look at the daily here on this stock. That's just so ugly looking. This was at one time at $43. Gaps down all the way to 16. Sells off here to 10. Got a good bounce up to almost 14. And then just big sell off. And this is just having a good bounce. Look at that. Just a nice bounce today after that big sell off. and it recently just had a 1 for 20 reverse split. So it just made the float smaller. When I looked at this on FinViz, the float said it was like 143 million. And they just did a 1 for 10 reverse split, or 1 for 20 reverse split. Makes the float smaller. Stock runs from 573 all the way up to almost $8 today. Well, I hope you guys had a good trading day. Leave comments down below of what you traded, if you were green or red on the day. Hopefully you guys are having a good week. If you haven't traded, it's always good to sit on your hands and just wait for opportunity. It's still a little bit slow in the market, and NVAX was like really the only one that popped off today. So maybe NVAX will lead to more opportunities tomorrow. That's going to be it for this market recap, guys. Tuesday, I want to say it's like the 14th. Yep, Tuesday, May 14th. It's a little after 12 p.m. Market's looking strong. Nice rebound today. All right, until next time, guys, have that patience, have that discipline, and study, study, study. Later, everyone.